So with that, we now invite our next set of speakers of the INEX Conclave's discussion, which is on Room for Innovation, Products of Sustainability. Well, first up, it is my honor to call upon our session chair. We'd request anyone who'd like to network to please step out. In interest of everyone seated, we'd like more decorum in the room. Thank you. We'll give you a couple of seconds on the same. So one of the foremost talents in the realm of Indian architecture, somebody who set up ARK, Reza Kabul Architects Private Limited India in 1988 and further expanded with the ARK Studio Pune and ARK Studio Inc. in San Francisco Bay Area, USA. We're talking about architect Reza Kabul, President ARK Reza Kabul Architects. Let's give our session chair if he's around. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. We'd request you to please join us on stage. Next up, joining would be the company director of one of our great companies with his immense knowledge of mechanical science. He's somebody who's able to add more value to the company's innovation plan and has helped launch various new products. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the managing director of Lingel Windows and Door Technologies Private Limited, Dr. H.C. Mario Schmidt. Dr. Mario always ends up in having a great smile and great energy all the time. Thank you. Next up, a marketing leader with over 20 years of experience in executing successful marketing strategy, envisioning memorable brands, and managing world-class services in construction, telecom, FMCG, and automotive industries. We're talking about the head marketing boards and a panel, Everest Industries Limited, Arpita Roy Luthra. Next up, joining would be somebody who's got the work experience of more than 18 years as an architect, has an extensive experience in design, engineering, and project management, having worked on a wide range of projects across various industries. We're talking about the technical design consultant, VMZINC India Private Limited, architect Samrat Kulkarni. Next up, an evangelist for the green cause, spearheading the sustainability initiatives for real estate, hotels, and malls of the Raheja Corp, amongst other key functions. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the Chief Sustainability Officer and Senior VP Project Coordination, Raheja Corporation, Shabbir Kanchwala. Thank you, Mr. Kanchwala, for joining us. And with that, I leave you up with the moderator to take it forward, our session chair. Don't worry. Well, you know, it's great when we get to know that there's one more esteemed panelist. Well, whilst as we're waiting for details of the same, and apologies for the one whom I was to invite, but it wasn't in the part of the flow, but the team is just getting that sorted. If I may have that, otherwise, let me take the liberty. Can I just introduce? Or, you know what, one of the brands we truly love, Godrej Properties, Namrata Mehra, apologies, we didn't have you on. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Namrata, and apologies, it wasn't, thank you so much. With that, and I'm glad our team is on that same, over to you, our moderator. Thank you.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. So, our topic for today is Room for Innovation, Products of Sustainability. As we all know, sustainability comes at a cost. So I'm going to be discussing how we can overcome that cost and how many of our clients are actually willing to take this forward, you know, because a lot of the clients, they're not ready yet to go ahead with the sustainability as it comes with a cost. So let's first, I mean, I think we should ask the, I'm going to throw the question to Mario. What do you think about and how do you face clients and what are the challenges that you have when you are, you know, pitching for a project and you have to do something which is sustainable and you got to market it, sell it? How much of a challenge is it for you?
I would like to continue with the last sentence of Mr. Mistry, Jimmy Mistry, who was just sitting over here. He said, it has to be accepted and it's a team play. When someone really don't want it, I can give all the arguments why it should be, and then it is still not going to happen. For us, sustainability is of course important. It starts with the design of the building. When the design is done in such a way that I have, for fenestration, a lot of natural shading, I can already save a lot of money on the glazing systems, where when I'm in west or on south surface and full sun load is going in, there already a lot of additional funds should go in using a special glazing system, so that overall, for the one who is going to use the building later, the energy cost, the energy bills, the maintenance bills in the end of the month is going to be quite less. From the product development and sustainability, we are, as a company, we are showing on each and every quotation what is my carbon footprint and how much I have to donate to make my carbon footprint neutral on purchase on windows and doors. This we are adopting from Europe, where it's compulsory that on each product this carbon footprint has to be written. We are doing it on every quotation, and we have signed up with certain NGOs where we are building trees. Because the only storage for our product is that we are making trees, and then the storage of the carbon is going to be over there. And then later on, of course, with a good sustainable design, the usage of a building where most of the saving has to happen can, with fenestration, play a critical role to reduce the overall running cost.
So we have to do a lot of education to the client before you sell your product. Am I right?
Confirmed, yes, yes,
right.
yes.
So it's like whenever we're designing a building as well, we've got to, really educate the client, because sometimes he says, oh, I've got the view from this side, and it becomes a big challenge how you can address the view and still not get too much of heat into the building, so that, you can have less heating in the building. Namrata, I would like to ask you, what do you do, because you're on the client side of the, so you're on the other side, other than our side. So how do you accept it? And you're a corporate, you'll are known for this thing, you'll have got sustainability verticals as well. We've been working with a lot of them, so we know. So how do you address the clients and the buyers as well when you have to do something as sustainable?
I think firstly you have to, I wish people in India would ask the same question that in terms of house performance that they ask for their cars. We're not there yet. Sustainability has to be a more comprehensive approach. So what we do is we looked at sustainability both on the product side as well as the operation side. So the product is the house that you build. And there, the base hygiene is starting with certifications. I know these are things that everybody will now assume that everyone's doing it, so why should we bother? But it is a good place to start. MOEF guidelines will pretty much bring you to an IGBC silver. There is a cost delta, 2 to 4% for gold, 6 to 8% for platinum, that you should be able to make a case for. So we started making sustainability manuals. And those became part of both marketing, collateral, and communication, as well as handover manuals for when customers would take their homes over. So like you mentioned, education is a continuous process. And on the product side, someone should be able to see the value of what is sustainable and why. On the operations side, something which again is non-sexy, how much water do you use while making a building? I know how much water my company uses for every square foot of built construction area. I'm hoping that we can have more evolved conversations when that becomes the norm. How much is your emissions footprint? Typically, scope 1 and 2 emissions are nothing. They are less than 1%. Scope 3 is the predominant emissions profile for any large developer. Out of scope 3, a large percentage, almost 80, I'd say 89% is purchased goods and services, like you mentioned. Out of purchased goods and services, if everybody knew, every architect, every material supplier, if everybody was able to clarify what that emissions profile is, we could do something about it. And what are the big 4 emissions emitters here? It is, as all of you would know, RMC, cement, steel, and tiles. And in every case, what we try and do, is there any product better? And it's not going to suddenly change. Ecosystem change doesn't happen by one person. We have to start having conversations. We have to start pricing it in. And which is why internal mechanisms like the ones that, say, Godrej Properties is working on, say, what is an internal carbon price? It's not something that we will talk about outside. We cannot yet disclose what it is. But those are conversations worth happening. What does it take for a company to be truly sustainable? It needs both the product and a large ecosystem change, as well as focus on operations, reducing water consumption, reducing emissions, reducing raw product usage. Fundamentally, real estate globally is almost 30% of all raw product use, 40% of all energy, and 33% of all emissions. Now, that's a lot for any industry to be accountable and responsible for. But I truly think that in the last 10 years that I've been at Godrej, through our partnerships, and those are with everyone, our architects, our contractors, our material providers, with them, we have seen the change. And I truly think that as an industry, if we put our minds to it, the next 10 years should be even better. I hope that answered
I think, we should come up with a formula like, when you go to buy a car, you ask, what is the mileage the car can give?
Well,
so
that is exactly what my boss says, and he is the Chief Sustainability Officer for Godrej Properties, and he says, ask for a car, ask for a building, the same thing you do. And every meeting, whether it's internal, town hall, I say the same thing, that if we can ask how much mileage your car gives you, and here it's really nice to be able to quote someone within our own organization, he's our CSO. He says, why are you not asking the same thing of the house you're going to buy? Is it going to reduce your electricity consumption? Are your ACs going to, is your bijli ka bill going to be any less?
I think you got to put it in common terms, that it's going to be so much mileage for your electricity, so much mileage for your water, so much mileage for your...
Well, the Indian Energy Council is talking about a flat-based rating. It has it in its works. And it should be coming out in about a year or so. So you're going to get your answer.
Okay, I think that will make things simple for the buyer, because they'll exactly, go into the... And we Indians are very conscious about money. So that would change the whole game. With Everest, what do you think and what are the challenges when you are selling your products, and how sustainable is your product?
See, Everest is the leading manufacturer of fiber cement boards in India. And fiber cement boards are particularly used for drywall constructions, and they can be used for wall panelings, they can be used for ceiling solutions, and also for creating an entire building envelope system, like the way that you actually mentioned. So you could create an entire facade solution, which is an insulated facade solution, and it restricts the heat dissipation from exterior to interiors. And the temperature is controlled well within, the interior temperature is well controlled. So it's almost 5 to 7 degrees lesser. So this helps in terms of, it saves a lot of energy and it saves a lot of resources. These materials are also made from Portland cement, silica, fly ash, and the fly ash content of this product is around 30 to 35%. So that makes it an advanced green product. These are easy to fix. These are, these are absolutely products which are modular in nature. They're prefabricated, and it helps in terms of faster construction. So the construction time in these kind of dry practices are almost 4x faster, and you literally do not need to use water during the construction. So these are the things that we are really propagating. The entire dry construction practices are something that we're really propagating to our end consumers, to the builders, to the architects. And somewhere there's a resonance amongst the builders and the architects. And they are increasingly steering towards accepting these kind of products. But we do face a challenge when it comes to contractors. So with the contractor community, we are also trying to create these education base where, we're creating training programs for them so that they understand that what are the merits of a dry construction technology and how they can use it for their benefit. And since this is 4x faster, so they can also do that many more projects, and they can increase their income. So this probably is something that they understand better, and that's the route that we are taking towards creating a more educated society towards sustainability.
So actually, I'll just tell you, because we tried this drywall construction in India, and people are still not ready to accept it. They still feel, that a brick wall is a solid thing, and a drywall construction is not solid. We've been trying to educate them. We put, both sides, we put the panel, and then we put in the foam concrete inside to make it light as well. But still, there's a little resistance, but I think you'll get over...
Absolutely, you said it right, Architect Reza, because that is one of our typical problems. The end consumer, unfortunately, sometimes they keep knocking the walls and they say that ye to khokhla hai. And the entire perception is that anything which probably gives out a knocking sound is not very durable, but not solid, yeah. So I think these are age-old perceived notions that really needs to change. Globally, most of the world, the developed countries are moving towards drywall constructions, and they've seen the merit of it. And I think so it's a slow and steady process of acceptance, but there are conscious customers who really want to adopt this because, it has the least impact on the environment.
There has been a change, I know, because we've tried it in a couple of projects, and now people have started accepting it, but it's going to take some time, I think. Shabbir, what product verticals has an immediate requirement for a sustainable solution in the construction?
Okay. So, just to answer your question, we've been using drywall, but we've been using drywall in orbit malls. We've been using drywall in the hospitals. The trend towards residential is going to take a while in terms of usage.
We tried some residential projects, but still that acceptability has not been there.
Yeah, because I guess that the noise levels from one room to the other, then Indians like to fix anything heavy anywhere, and we keep on changing. Our interior guys keep on changing. So all those probably come in the way of, we don't have the discipline which is there in US and Europe, where drywall has been used for ages, right? So having said that, I mean, my company, Kedia Corp, we started on this journey, in 2006, and the first ones to sign an MOU with CI IGBC to construct only green buildings across the country. So with 1.5 crore to 2 crore square feet of construction every year, there are a lot of materials which, what people talk about qualified as green, right? So the Indian Green Building Council has got the Green Pro product, which they look at a product and then they see how green it is right from, from the cradle to the grave. So those products are something which we look at. We also look at the life cycle analysis of the product. We also look at the EDP of the product. There are products available in this country. There are products not available in this country, if we need to complete a commercial green building. So it's a mix of both, and with 10.2 billion square feet of Indian Green Building Council green buildings in this country, I mean, we are the second largest in the world after US, and including the US Green Building Council, we are the second largest green building, projects in the world. Thank you.
Samrat, let me ask you this question. What innovation in sustainability products help making retrofit existing projects an easier conversation? So if you have a, building, the retrofit part of it is always better. So what is your take on your products and how do you do it?
So innovation, is it working? Yeah. Innovation in sustainable products is definitely a easier way to, easier conversion for retrofitting of existing buildings because of the...
So like your product that is there, suppose there is an existing building and you want to retrofit the building. So I think it's a nice way to do it with your product so that the building doesn't get and it's recycled kind of a thing, it's refurbished kind of a thing.
Yes, specifically for VMZINC, because it's being sustainable material, we can, and because of its USPs like flexibility, that is malleability of the material and life cycle of the material, it is more sustainable and it is much more better material to use as a retrofit for existing buildings.
Okay. Mario, what is the, every time when you're doing a product, you are innovating something, or are you doing research on the products? Are you actually putting in investment and trying to do something that it becomes more sustainably? So how are you doing that?
As anything in terms of development, we have to resolve a problem. There's a problem, either the price and sustainability, anything can be the problem, and we have to start to look for the solution. Like one example, last year, proudly, we won the INEX award for the product launch of the year, and it was a special security glazing system, and it was a special hardware security system. What was different? That we have shown the additional laminated glasses sold in India, and we have made many tests how they are actually failing. They are rolling out actually like an, I say always dozer, or like a curtain. Customer believing he's buying something super special, paying for it, but not getting it delivered. And only at a time when someone actually really wants to enter your building, at this point of time, you will realize that you got something which does not reach what you have actually paid for. And on this point, we had started our R&D. We have checked the norms, the European norms, what we are going to do over there. Being a German company, advantage for me at this point, to check out with our German headquarters. And we made something at the almost same price and giving in 10, 20 times better performance. Have made a lot of exhibition, a lot of live acts where we have showcased the difference. And then it has paid. It has paid off. We have a lot of innovations which are still about to come. We have made a lot of innovations where the customer itself, like a drywall, super cool concept used across the world, but as of now, not really taken. When I have a fly ash brick wall or when I have a good drywall, then of course, when I use the right fastener, I can hang much more of a weight on it actually. And same like for us, we have made trim systems or other detailing where it takes maybe another 3, 4, 5 years. When it reaches to the customer acceptance, inbuilt air purifier, rain sensors, there are many, many things which are already lined up, but it will take time till the actual acceptance is going to happen, resolving a valid problem, and then the payback is going to come. But any R&D has to start, what is the problem, what the customer faces with my product, and where I can start an improvement. And when this is the goal, definitely you are going in the right direction.
So, Namrata, what do you think about what he's saying? Do you actually research the product when they are coming to you for, installing a product or selling you a product? Do you actually research and do you get some tests done, or how do you identify that what they are trying to, say that it's a sustainable product? How do you justify it?
So yes, there is product testing. So product development, at least for us, is multiple components, right? One is what the customer wants and its acceptance. Case in point to what you were saying, drywall is not acceptable in the residential market at which we are selling apartments. We keep on doing those sort of testing with the customer, and that is not yet for us residentially acceptable. From a product use perspective, we do look at material viability. So we have a whole program within the company which talks about standardization. Now, why would you need to standardize anything? It is to get base hygiene threshold standards. It isn't for innovation. So one of our projects has the largest installed single pane glass. Now, that wasn't the result of standardization. That was differentiated innovation. It was the need of the hour. It needed to be doubly laminated. There were a whole host of things. We worked with a supplier who was overseas, who also customized it for us. But that's one aspect of it. For the 99% of our portfolio, which is pure play residential, homes that all of us are here to purchase at, we need very basic materials. which are not fundamentally going to change. But yes, every time we try out a new material, we do look at what its laboratory testings initiate. We also started a different thing, which was take all the materials before we install them. So think about a sample apartment not for to tell a customer to purchase it, not the good-looking sample apartment with
not
those.
a show apartment.
Yeah,
It's the actual same
no like beautiful vases and
frills.
outstanding furniture, not that, but a fundamental sample apartment which had all the finishes, which then gets tested out by every team. So clearly when the sales and marketing guy walks in, his aim is, oh my God, is it going to sell or not? But when the ops guys walk in, their thing is, how hard is it going to be for us to use this tile? Is there a problem? Do I need a spacer? Do I not need a spacer? Is the leveling easy? So they have their lens. And the idea is, everyone brings something to the table. So why must we listen to only one sort? The QS folks, for any material that goes into our standard use category, their jobs are to ensure that they not only look at material viability certificates, but also go and have those tested. So we have flagged basic certificates. We have had some tests undertaken on materials where it did not work. There is a ceramic tile supplier for vitrified tiles that for good reason I will not take the name here. We had some challenges. We went into their sort of testing center. I was personally there for 2 days while we tested it out because that tile was specified for multiple projects. So either they would address it or we would have to replace it. The reason I mean you have to look at it for scale is that 153 million, which was last year, our declared development portfolio, or the more 170 million of this year. You can't take chances. So if a tile doesn't work, and we are not able to solve what is a case in point for one project, then we will have to fundamentally say we cannot use this tile elsewhere. So thankfully for us, they were able to pick out what the challenge was and were able to address it to our satisfaction. But they also understood that we were committed towards seeing this work. From a sustainability angle, to be honest, while you mentioned the Green Pro, what I would strongly what as an industry person I'm looking for is like the Bureau of Indian Standards, the BIS picking up sustainability in a big way. The same way MRPs and certain composition details are mandatory, we want emissions profiling to be mandatory. We have to remove sustainable materials from initiatives and translate initiatives straight into what would it take to make it the norm. And a lot of it has to come from the industry coming together, and some of it will have to come from mandates. So for example, if there are PWT contracts, right, what will Green Pro do? It will not make sense. And for large materials, whether it's cement, RMC, steel, the industry and the ecosystem has to demand a better, more sustainable material. We recently started supplier ESG mapping, and our suppliers who were declaring emissions for their tiles, they were pleasantly surprised when we said that our guidance said that you're doing a great job, your emissions are the lowest in the market. So they said, oh wow, our emissions actually matter to someone. So if one supplier is going to say this, the next 10 suppliers are going to start declaring their emissions profile. And we are saying, okay, start right now. It's not like we are going to come and audit it in the first year. But starting makes the entire ecosystem aspire towards better. And this is India, right? We were sustainable before sustainability was sexy. I mean, all of us have reused glass bottles. None of you open a kitchen and my maid cannot find anything because I know that inside the Bonvita jar is actually the rice and inside this is... All of us do this, right? For us, this is not an alien thing that we are picking up. Our contractors know the best way to avoid wastage. They know the least amount of stone to use for maximum impact, the best use of tiles. This is our country we're talking about. I'm sure as an ecosystem, we are able to translate this into real impact. I hope that helps, Reza.
Thank you. Samrat, what do you think about zinc? Zinc is a very old material. I mean, it's been used for centuries. You all got it into India now, and we are using it. So how sustainable it is, and what is the impact that it creates on the environment by using zinc?
So VMZINC is actually zinc for architectural projects. Product is made of 17% of recycled materials.
Wow.
It requires less energy for recycling. Like it melts at 420 degrees Celsius, so it uses less amount of energy in recycling. Plus, it has a life expectancy of more than 80-100 years, and there is. Being it's non-ferrous metal, there is no corrosion or anything for it to degrade further.
Like every time when you look at it, after a few years, it changes color and gives you a new look.
Yes, it will do because of the natural. If we use natural finishes, it will oxidize and it will give you a different look every time over the period of time, rather. Yeah.
Okay. So, Shabbir, what do you? I mean, you're an RCC specialist, and so what do you look at? You know, when you're looking at RCC, because everybody is talking very negative about RCC. So, means negative in the sense that it generates a lot of this thing. Yeah, but we still have to use it. So, what is the solution, or what is the way we can get out of not using RCC? I mean, concrete, rather concrete.
So in India, I don't think there is a real alternative to RCC because steel construction, a lot of people have tried, including us, and there are various challenges in steel, of course, other than the cost. So in RCC, like even if you look at grade A companies like Tata Steel or ArcelorMittal or Jindal, they have done the bit in reducing carbon during the manufacturing process. So the Jindal is going to spend a lot of money. Tata Steel has already done a lot of work in reducing the carbon footprint. So I guess when you end up using that kind of steel, and you kind of have the comfort of saying that, okay, this is some sort of a sustainable product in RCC. Even in cement, we've got, GSW cement or Bharti cement, or for that matter, even Ultratech. Yeah. So there is a lot of movement towards that because they kind of understand that in terms of what we are reporting. And now the government of India has also mandated the first 1,000 companies on the stock exchange to compulsory report from this year, the BRSR standard, in which a lot of this is going to come in terms of right from the employee well-being to social to governance to your green building. So there is a lot of emphasis by the government also because they have committed in the Paris Agreement reduction. So we have to move towards that.
All this is going to come at a cost, right? So who's going to be bear the brunt eventually? It's going to be the end user, right?
Yeah, but if you were to...
Or may I ask you, what is the percentage that it would be loaded onto for the end user?
So, the way we look at it in my company is that you need to look at the base building specs. So when we were not doing green buildings and, before 2005, we had certain specifications which were actually green. And now with MOEF, there is a lot of things which you have to do anyways, right? You can't get away from it. Whether it's glass, whether it is solar, whether it is, sewage treatment plant, rainwater harvesting, you can't get away from that. So that cost anyway, any builder has to spend. Other than that, whatever cost, she mentioned about certain percentages. For us, the percentages are way low. Because for a home, we were looking at, not 8 to 10 rupees a square foot extra. For a commercial, I'm talking about gold green home, and a gold office is in the range of 20-25. Yes, platinum is 80-85. So, we have been in this business since 1956, and we understand that cost is not the only criteria which determines
sustainability. Homes are not getting cheaper anymore, right? So, Namrata, what do you think? In the US, there's a lot of external boards that are used, the cement boards that are used. In India, we are still not ready to use those kind of boards. Like over there, I'm aware what we do is we just, make the structure, it's a timber structure or a steel structure, and then the board is put in from exterior and it's fine. So what do you think? Would it take a lot of time to get into India, or anybody, they won't accept it at all. Because we are not ready still for the internal drywalls. So what will happen for the exteriors?
No, I don't think so. That should be an issue because, if you actually really look at the entire category of fiber cement boards, and if you see in the last couple of years, it's growing almost at a rate of around 14%. And post-COVID, it has really gone up. So like Shabbir mentioned that, in commercial properties, there's a lot of acceptance. So people are using it for room-to-room partitions. Like, you not have a hotel property now who are not using a drywall. You will not have a hospital or a healthcare project where they don't do the internal partitions with the drywall. But in the residential segment, it is definitely going to be a little bit of a challenge because people, have an age-old belief system that the drywalls are probably not durable. So as an organization, what we are trying to do is that, we are trying to educate even the end consumer. So there's a lot of marketing campaign that we do around safety. For example, we have got these high-density, heavy-duty boards which can almost give you a fire rating for about 2 hours. In case of a calamity or a fire accident, you have at least 2 hours of a window to evacuate. So these features are something which are more closer to an end customer, like somebody who's like a home builder like me. I would want to be in a place where it's more safer. And those are the things that we're really hitting on, and we're trying to build a category around that. So we are focusing on durability, we're focusing on safety and security, and that is how we are seeing that the end consumer will probably have a larger resonance towards these kind of practices, and they will start moving towards the drywalls, which is sustainable. I mean, these are all Green Pro certified, but to an end customer, that's probably not more important. What is important is safety and security, and we're playing on that card.
Right. Shabbir, in the US, there is a lot of modular construction that we started doing over there. Even a hotel room, 2 hotel rooms and the corridor, everything comes in a modular form. It's made in a factory, and it's brought to the site and just stacked, and the boards are put from outside. So do you think ever we could get into that kind of a, mode or something, where we can do something? Because what happens is this is very sustainable. It's made in one the factory under one roof. And everything is just like an automobile, how you have the car starting from the chassis and then it keeps on moving and it comes to the last and when the car is out. So this is something on that where even the carpet, the bed, the light fittings, the toilet fittings, everything is in place and you just come and stack it and then the plug and play happens with the main services and it goes. So it's very sustainable. So what do you think? Could we do something in India that way someday?
So we've studied this very carefully. Now, there are 3-4 challenges in this. One is that to do this type of modular and prefab construction, the minimum construction area requires is around 12 to 15 lakh square feet at one particular location for you to even break even. And, so number 2 is the availability of labor at site once this leaves the factory and it comes there. Number 3 is the leakage of the toilets, and that still we have not been able to do this.
Address it properly.
Address this problem. Because in India, obviously, when you have a buyer at home, she uses a lot more wet mopping than it is used outside. So all that comes in the way. I'm not
when
saying
Diwali
that
comes, you got to wash the whole kitchen and the house and everything.
So I'm saying that unless and until the break-even goes down from 12 lakh square feet to maybe, say in a place like Mumbai, right? You cannot just do it, right? You're not going to get that kind of
maybe
area.
Pune, maybe Thane,
so
maybe
in
Virar,
Tier 3
Vasai.
cities. So L&T is doing this in New Bombay because they've got a project from the government of Maharashtra where they're doing. But then they've got almost like 5,000 apartments, which they're building for Citco. So they have managed to do that, and so. The break-even for a builder is very, very detrimental.
Right. What do you think about something like modular? You're getting your windows in factory, fabricated, everything, and then it comes in a box and it comes on the site and you just install it?
So one fashion goes or has reached India in using the high-sea containers in making portable homes. This looks super stylish. In Europe, we have a lot of these houses, real houses, small villas, maybe up to 2,000, 2,500 square feet maximum. They are really factory made, and then within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, the entire house is standing. Because making it in the factory, cost is going so dramatically down. People are making just the foundation, and then the house is just set on top of it, assembled in a couple of weeks. But then drywalls, as we have to accept this complete new change of construction. Also wood, which is really not really used in India so often because of termites and other problems as well. Opportunities are there. Customer needs to see the benefit, and we have to resolve a problem, and then it is going to work 100%.
Thank you. I think we are out of time. Just to sum up, I think, so I feel the customer has to be educated more, and more than that, I think the architects and the people recommending have to be educated. It's only then we'll be able to educate the final end user and get into that sustainability mode. I hope we are getting there. We have gotten quite a bit, because since the past 10 years or 20 years that we've started with the IGBC and everything, it's been moving. Let's hope for the best. Of course, it will come at a cost, but it's going to be better for us and for the next generation. Thank you. Any questions we can take up? I think we were very self-explanatory. We are a good panel. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Could we have a huge, huge round of applause? What an excellent panel discussion to end. And now I'd like to call upon the most admired architect in India. Ladies and gentlemen, he needs absolutely no introduction, architect Premnathji. Requesting you all to have him on stage to help us with the felicitations. And Premnathji, you're only getting younger every time I see you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And with that, if we may request the felicitations to happen, could we have it? First up, thank you so much, Architect Reza Kabul, our session chair, to kindly step forward. Let's make it as a memorable moment. Premnathji, if you could step in the center, and let's get that in place. Ladies and gentlemen, a big, big round of applause. Thank you so much, Arpita. Arpita, if you may step in the center. Dr. Ed C. Mario Schmidt, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Namrata Mehra. Thank you for your valuable time, and we request you to step in the center, along with Architect Premnathji. Thank you so much, Architect Samrat Kulkarni. Thank you for your valuable time today. Thank you so much, Shabbir, for joining us. Mr. Kanchwala. And if I could have the entire panel along with Architect Premnathji. So if you could be in the center with the entire panel, and let's have a group photograph together. Mr. Premnathji in the center, and let's get the entire panel in place. More and more smiles, ladies and gentlemen. The most admired architect in India joining our panel today. Let's give him a big, big round of applause along with our entire panel. Thank you so much. God bless. Thank you to our entire panel.